Everybody, welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, SG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking or reacting to a video of Asha Sharma called on Fortune's Conversations. It's called To the Next Level, so we're going to watch that, give you my thoughts and opinions as we listen to that interview. We're going to talk about Destiny 2 fan breaks Steam server tracking while saying goodbye to PC surpassing Marathon's peak player count in minutes. So we'll talk about that as well. And then we're also going to talk about from Windows Central. We're going to talk about when Xbox Showcase, Jez Gordon went there, talked to executives, fans, and developers, and he says something has to change, but for how long? So we're going to read that article and see what the future is for Xbox as well. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Good morning, chat. Let me see who's all here, who's all chatting up. Albany, what's going on? I'll Big Mo, Eclipse, Jesse Mack, Roic. Good morning, Aku. Who else is here? Anybody else? If you come in chat, say hello. I will say hello back. I saw Roic. Roic, you said there's, good morning, Roic. Morning, Sarge. You said that there's actually sometime this morning a Fable showcase. If that happens, let me know, because after we're done with the other video, we might go watch that instead. But let me know if it comes out while we're live, because the Destiny story and what Xbox is doing, we can push that to the side to see more gameplay and stuff of Fable. All right, let's jump right in, because this is only 18 minutes long, but who knows how long we'll stop and pause and whatnot. Sarge says, says, Asha doesn't know anything about video games. She knows what they tell her. Did everyone forget where the hell she was working in the past? What are we even talking about? Well, I mean, we're going to watch an interview with her, Sarge, and see what she says. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. All right. So here we go.
So I want to ask a question of all of you really fast. Who here plays video games? Raise your hand.
Oh, wow.
If you notice, Asha didn't raise her hand. Sarge is correct. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. We started off great. How many people here play video games? She didn't raise her hand. For God's sakes.
A lot. More than you were expecting? Less than you were expecting?
You know, a couple weeks ago, I would have said more than I was expecting, but the study just came out and said 70% of Americans play 1 hour of video games every single week.
Okay, hold on. Can we make this louder? I think it's loud as it can be. I can't make it any louder on my side. All right, so we're just going to have to listen carefully here.
Which said a couple weeks ago, I would have said more than I was expecting, but the study just came out and said 70% of Americans play 1 hour of video games every single week.
1 hour. 70% of Americans, 1 hour a week.
Came out and said
that's not a lot at all. Think about it.
70% of Americans play 1 hour of video.
It's a quiet video. You have to have a program to make it louder. I mean, I don't have that program. How am I gonna make this louder? Do you know the program? Do you know the program, Eclipse? Let me see if I can get that program before, because this is rough. I can't make it any louder. Let's see. Let's see. Do we know? No. Because my system is maxed out. Let's see. Crowder, what's going on, Crowder? Good morning. What's going on, Shadow? I played Destiny update yesterday for a couple of hours. I got disconnected 4 times, but we only can talk about Marathon screwing up. But I haven't even got to the Destiny story stuff yet, so I have no idea. I have no idea. Clip says mine's called sound adjustment. It's added on your browser. Is it through Chrome? Because I use Opera GX. Sound adjustment. Yeah, I see sound adjustment for Chrome. All right, well, maybe what I can do. Oh, add to Opera. There you go. Now, where do I find it? Now I got to find where the hell it put it. Extension. Sound adjustment. Let's pin that. Let's open that. Let's hit play and see what happens.
Video games every single week.
Which, per this room, it actually might be more than 70%, as it turns out. Asha, you took on this job a few months ago. You were not historically a gamer. What was the first game you ever played?
Is that better? It's getting there.
On an Xbox. Oh gosh. Well, the first game I ever played that in memory, I'm not a gamer, but kind of casual.
Okay. Let's rewind. We can hear her now, right? I think we can hear her now. All right, here we go.
Expecting, but the study just came out and said 70% of Americans play 1 hour of video games every single week.
Which, per this room, it actually might be more than 70%, as it turns out. Asha, you took on this job a few months ago. You were not historically a gamer. What was the first game you ever played?
I love how they're really like clicking on the, you're not a gamer. We know she's a gamer, not a gamer. That's why we gave her shit before. Oh, what? Crowd, I can't get your thing off the screen.
On an Xbox.
Oh gosh. Well, the first game I ever played that in memory, I'm not a gamer, but kind of casually grew up with Star Fox and hockey and Sonic, and then I think the first game I played on an Xbox was Halo.
It was on Halo. It was Halo.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some Halo fans out here. Over the last few years, Xbox's future has never been more in question. You just had your first showcase as CEO. How do you feel?
Oh, it was incredible. So Showcase is our annual game show where we show off the trailers and the lineups to come. We had more than 25 creators that showed up to do it. And
you didn't do anything, Crowded. I brought your thing up on screen, and I couldn't take it off for some reason.
Honestly, it's one thing to watch it, it's one thing to hear about it, but it's another thing to feel it. These are our fans that have committed 25 years to Xbox, and to see their excitement and to feel the energy for the next 25 years was pretty special.
What did you want that showcase to telegraph about Xbox's future?
When I took the role about 100 days ago, I talked about my first 100 days was about listening and learning and really understanding what makes Xbox Xbox. And so I made 3 commitments along the way. I wanted to preserve great games. All
right, so we actually said this before. Like, if you don't know anything, right? This is a good sign, okay? Because she's new in the industry. We actually said this back in February when she came into the business. I said if I was a person that didn't know anything about the business, I would go to as many people as possible, okay, within the business, right? This is what makes a good manager, right? A good upper management, CEO, right? You would go to every single person of the thing that you didn't know, and you just listen, right? You start to understand what they're doing, listen to the people inside the business, right? I'm only basing it off of what she's saying right now, right? But that's what I would do if I was the CEO and I didn't know shit about the thing I was doing, right? Because in the past, I didn't know how to run an arcade, but I learned by shutting my mouth and listening to people that knew how to run it, right? I didn't know how to sell suits, so I learned, shut my mouth, and learned how to sell suits, right? So when I was in charge of 150 people, and when I was on the film sets and different things, you just learn. You ask as many questions as possible so you understand what's going on.
I wanted to be about the return of Xbox, and I wanted to talk about the future of play. And so it was only fitting that my first showcase, we got to really do that. And we had a lot of great games. We had the return of Xbox with the reintroduction of...
Why is there so many empty seats? What's happening here?
2 new exclusives, as well as a new special edition 25th anniversary console. And it was just such a wonderful environment to bring everybody together.
Now, one thing about your tenure is that you have killed a lot of things fast. The This Is an Xbox campaign, Copilot, it seems like the mobile store might be in flux. What's the pattern?
Look, I think that clarity is kindness. And so as I'm learning, I'm trying to be decisive about the things that we need to invest in, the things we need to prioritize, and the things that don't represent our brand. And we're doing that as fast as we can. There's still seams in that.
The Everything's an Xbox campaign is dead, but everything is still an Xbox. We repeated this multiple times. You could still play Game Pass on your Samsung TVs and LG TVs and what's that one? Hisense television sets now. Okay, these are all things that still exist. You can still play Game Pass on your cell phone and your tablets, right? All they did was get rid of the marketing that everything's an Xbox, right? They're doubling down, tripling down on, well, this is an Xbox, but we're going back to consoles, but you have to pay for expensive console. But everything is still an Xbox.
As we go, but it's starting to really create a direction for the team to understand the principles in which we stand for, how we make decisions, to really have all of them follow that same path.
Now, this wasn't something you killed, but it was a cut. You did drop prices on Game Pass, longtime Xbox pillar. What went into that decision?
Look, I think Game Pass is at the heart of gaming.
I missed that question. Let me listen to her again. Can I just say the person that's giving the interview, she seems very smug. I don't know. She's like,
how we make decisions to really have all of them follow that same path.
Now, this wasn't something you killed, but it was a cut. You did drop prices on Game Pass, longtime Xbox pillar. What went into that decision?
Look, I think Game Pass is at the heart of gaming. It's the way that players can access.
Can I answer the question before? What made you change the price of Game Pass? Well, we were fucking stupid for raising it to $30, and so we heard them. And I couldn't go down to 20 because Satya Nadella wouldn't let me. So we had to go down to 23.
A lot of catalogs, day one content, great experiences with us, and we had raised the prices 50% last year. And we were on the path to seeing a decay in subscribers. And so it had just simply become too unaffordable. And so we adjusted the...
How did they... This is not against her, by the way. This is not against her, right? Because she just came in and was like, this is too expensive. We have to lower this. How did Satya, Amy, Sarah, Spencer, how did they all come to this conclusion of going, yeah, we're going to raise Game Pass to $30 per person per month? And no one was like, do you think that's a little too expensive? It took Asha to come in, an outsider, and be like, hey, this is too expensive. We have to lower this. And everyone's like, what a great idea, right? And again, I'm not making fun of her. I'm making fun of Microsoft because it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Yeah, but Mo, it's idiotic to say that it was mandated, okay? Okay, and then she comes in and goes, we need to lower the price. They're like, oh, okay. It's so dumb.
price for players and the offering as we went through with that. And we're starting to see a return to growth. We're starting to see more subscribers. We're starting to see, more importantly, better retention.
I can't wait to see how much more Crimson Desert is gonna add. I just got Oonka. His combat is satisfying.
I can't wait to see how much more Crimson Desert is going to add. I just got Unka. His combat is satisfying. Fantastic. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. I don't know what that has to do with what we're watching right now, but I do appreciate the $5. Thank you very much.
Got more work to do, so we will be doing more this summer in order to create more flexible offerings to meet all the types of players that we have, and we'll continue to iterate on that.
Now, who here considers...
Okay, so you said we're going to reiterate on... Hold on.
So we will be doing more this summer in order to create more flexible offerings to meet all the types of players that we have, and we'll continue to iterate on that.
So does that mean she's going to make different tiers? I mean, we talked about different tiers. We talked about the family plan. We've talked about the $14, $13 plan, right? That's the middle ground that everyone should be at. I don't think Game Pass should have more than, right, $20, right? I think the only price for Game Pass should be $15, and that should be everything. Everything, $15, boom, right down the middle. Doesn't go up, doesn't go down. More people come in because $15, especially when you have an $800, $900 console, and you're like, I can't afford a $900 console. You'll be like, well, I can afford $15 a month to play Game Pass. Right, that is the perfect spot for them, but they won't do that because they have to make all the money all the time, even though they're not doing anything but servers for Game Pass. Right, it's all digital. You're not owning the thing. The thing here is, I think they're going to do family. Right, they're going to do probably a lower tier. They're going to do an ad-free tier. It'll be interesting. Again, I'm going to rewind this and listen to her again with the words that she's saying.
We're starting to see, more importantly, better retention, and we've got more work to do. So we'll be doing more this summer in order to create more flexible offerings to meet all the types of players that we have, and we'll continue to iterate on that.
Now, who here considers themselves an Xbox fan? Raise your hand. Okay, so there's some very enthusiastic hands out there. You, like me, maybe have been on Xbox Reddit recently then, where people are saying things like...
I think the people in the crowd are not gamers. I don't know. I'm just going to put it out there. They all look pretty older, gentlemen. Not to say that they didn't play games at one point, but she just asked a question and like one person raised their hand. Right? And the question wasn't like an insane question. It was, who considers themselves an Xbox fan?
An Xbox fan. Raise your hand. Okay, so there's some very enthusiastic hands out there. You, like me, maybe have been on Xbox Reddit recently then, where people are saying things like, when do we put up the statue of Asha? There's definitely a sense you've turned the narrative around on Xbox. But what has truly changed in these first few months, and what still needs to evolve?
Look, I think that I've had the opportunity to take a look at everything with fresh eyes, and the team is putting a lot of wins on the board, starting with our players. We have one of our operating principles is that we earn every single player, and so Well,
yeah, you earned them because they have to pay $800 to get in.
That Brain Eclipse 187 celebrates 32 months of membership.
Goom for life. 30 doit.
Thank you, Eclipse, for the 32 months, man. Appreciate that. Right? Like, yeah, you're pretty diehard if you're paying $800 for any system. $900 for Sony, $800 for Xbox. Like, what are we talking about here?
Ship more operating, a lot of wins on the board, starting with our players. We have one of our operating principles is that we earn every single player. And so we've shipped more in the last few months on our platform than we have in the last year. We've been able to see a return.
I'm sorry, she just say we had...
is that we earn every single player. And so we've shipped more in the last few months.
Shipped more in the last few months on our platform.
On our platform than we have in
we did in the last year. That's crazy.
last year, we've been able to see a return to growth on Game Pass. We had some great games. Forza was absolutely crushing it. And I think that momentum is really contagious. And we're starting to really go back to some of the core principles that made Xbox great. At the same time, we know that the industry at large...
They got to come out the next quarter. The next quarter, they got to come out and tell you how many people are on Game Pass. You want to get people back. You want to get people invested in your thing to know if it's becoming popular or not popular, okay? Then you come out and say, yeah, we have 45 million people on Game Pass, whatever it is, right? You got to tell them exactly how many people are on Game Pass. Just like the movie theater tells you that #1 movie at the box office, we had 210 million people, right? Or $210 million this weekend. When people hear that, they go, oh, it must be good. It made a lot of money.
Is going through a lot of headwinds. It pulled a lot of demand forward during COVID, and it hasn't really been able to reaccelerate. There's compression happening at almost every level of the stack, and there's a new generation that plays very differently than the core generation. And so we've had a great 100 days. We've begun to revive Xbox, and the next 100 days is about resetting Xbox.
To that end, the narrative is
and I don't mean this in Asha's way, right? For Microsoft itself, what a waste of time. What a waste of time to take Xbox where it was, destroy it, and now reset it, right? They did this to themselves, and again, not Asha, Microsoft, okay? Microsoft did this to themselves, and now they bring someone back in, and now you're just like, it's like you were walking on this conveyor belt and haven't moved. You just wasted the amount of time that you had. You could have been growing the player base, been growing the actual people that own your consoles and whatnot. And instead, they've raised the prices of all consoles before she got in effect, right? They raised the price of Game Pass. They raised the price of games. And now, right, now they're just rehashing what they're trying to, right? It's like walking backwards on an escalator. You feel like you're moving, but you're not really moving.
shifted, but the numbers are tough. Gaming revenue down, but hardware revenue down 33%. You've previously said you can't raise prices through the crisis, but you also have memory storage shortages to contend with, and they are driving up prices across the industry. How do you think about balancing that? And does that limit growth potential for consoles?
Yeah, look, it's going to, in all of these spaces, there are no silver bullets. So we will have patience and we will execute in days, but expect that it will take a while to show up on the scoreboard. Look, on hardware, we are in a crisis right now. The entire industry is. There's a shortage of memory and storage, and the costs are exponential. They are usually at this point in the generation about 50% of the cost, and we're seeing they're up 2.75x. They're up 50% since I started. They're going to be up effectively 7.5x. And
so make the problem sell the solution. So it looks like I am correct in all of this from years prior by saying that Xbox wants you on Game Pass because that's the only way they can get you now. Right? Regardless if you're excited for E-Day, for Fable, for Clockwork Revolution, people are not going to spend $800 to get that one game. They're not. Okay? They will sample it or try it for 1 month for the price that you're giving, right? But you literally just, as she said in the very beginning, 70%. Right? El Dente says, I'm excited to be poor, right? She said 70% of the people that play video games play 1 hour a week. 1 hour a week. That's not a lot. Okay? So you think that, let's just take 50% of that group, okay? 50% of the 70% that play for 1 week, or for 1 hour a week. You think the person is going to spend $800 so they can pay for 50 hours in the year? You think they're going to pay $800 plus the video game that's $80, $70, $80, and they're going to pay that much money, almost $900 to $1,000 so they can play for 50 hours for the entire year? I don't think so. Roadkill says those stats are way off. 1 hour a week. What the hell is the point of even having it? Look, I'm just having a conversation on what she said. She said that 70% of gamers only play 1 hour a week, is what she said. So what percentage of those people would buy an $800, $900 console to play a video game for 50 hours for the year? That's not worth it. They're not going to do it.
And so, yes, pricing is a lever, of course, but we must think about other options as well. We must think about other ways to think about the cost construction of the console. We must think about how we create different plans so more people can participate.
Remember that Keystone that they had, the little box, the little Fire Stick behind the thing, right? Like the Amazon, right? The Roku type of device. They're going to bring that back. They had it, but they couldn't get the cost down, right? They're going to do it now. It's going to be a streaming box, okay? Just for those people that don't have smart TVs or whatever, okay? They're going to bring that back. Ron says cloud gaming is the other option. Cloud gaming is the option. It's the only option, Ron. When you don't want to pay $800, right? $800 for a console. Cloud gaming is the other option, which you could pay for a small price of $20 a month.
Participate in the console. We must think about partnerships that will allow us to have better distribution and reach. And we must think about the experiences that we're creating outside of that as well to reach new audiences.
What are some things you're considering that you would never imagined would be the case 5 years ago? Or that Xbox would have never imagined would be the case 5 years ago?
Hard to tell because I wasn't there, but I think that we will, continue to look at new.
Eclipse says, yeah, I watch a YouTube channel. He's called Gamer Dad. He only plays 1 hour a week, and right now he's playing Crimson Desert. So basically, that's the only game he's playing for the year. Just the story, by the way. If he goes off to a side track to do something, he'll never get that game done. Never. Right? It's going to take him 2 years to finish the main story campaign of Crimson Desert. 2 years. Yeah.
New business models, I think, is what is needed for console rather than.
And I'm not making fun of the guy, by the way. I'm just saying if he plays 1 hour a week, it's 52 hours a year. 52 hours a year. Actually, it's going to take him longer than that because you can play the single player campaign. It takes about 160 hours to go through all the stuff.
Just the most premium, high performance console in the world. I think we've reached a.
Okay, hold on a second. What did she say here? What is the question?
Years ago. Or that Xbox would have never imagined would be the case 5 years ago?
Hard to tell because I wasn't there, but I think that we will, continue to look at new business models, I think is what is needed for console rather than just the most premium, high performance console in the world. I think we've reached a point where it will be hard to imagine that mass audiences can afford thousands of dollars to spend on a console generation. And so I think we will start to see radically different business models that we never expected start to come into orbit later this year.
Later this year, like cloud gaming, leading the industry. I mean, she didn't say cloud gaming. She just said radically. To start to see radically
different business models.
Different business models. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Never expected start to come into orbit later this year.
One of the things that I think is really interesting about the business moment you're in is through the prism of something like Project Helix. It's expected to be a top-tier premium offering. There is definitely interest in it. But previously, Xbox executives have recently said that it's going to be hard to meet demand. How do you sort of balance that?
Yeah, well, we're having a hard time now. There's more demand than there is supply for our Gen 9 console.
Asha, I could still go to the store and buy an Xbox. There's no shortage of Xboxes. Zero shortages of Xboxes. I can go to the store right now and pick up another Xbox. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? I could literally go to any store. I could roll the dice, just go to any store, and they'd be like, "Hey, can I have an Xbox?" I'd be like, "Yeah, here you go." Hey, to have a shortage, okay. What about overseas? Did she say overseas? Right? They haven't sold. Look, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? They have sold 28.3 million units. There's millions of Xboxes sitting on a shelf. So much so that Costco got rid of their entire inventory and gave it to somebody else because they didn't want the inventory in their building anymore. Right? What are we talking about? They haven't sold Xboxes this generation. We're in year 6 here, people. Do you think they only made enough? And that's the reason this number's not going up? What are we talking about?
And I suspect the same will be there with our Gen 10 console. I'm excited about it. It's a console that's also going to allow you to play your PC games. It's going to have backward compatibility.
I just said that, Roadkill. I literally just said that. You can't go to Costco. Costco got rid of their inventory. They sold it off to other people. What are you listening? Is this thing on?
It's going to have leading-end performance console. And I suspect the same will be there with our Gen 10 console. I'm excited about it. It's a console that's also going to allow you to play your PC games. It's going to have backward compatibility. It's going to have leading-end performance. But there's material work to do to make sure that it is available to the people that want to play. And so we're working on that.
To this end, you have warned about.
Yeah, we're making a console that plays PC games. That's a PC. That's a PC. Let me rewind again so she can tell you what a PC is.
There's more demand than there is supply for our Gen 9 console. And I suspect the same will be there with our Gen 10 console. I'm excited about it. It's a console that's also going to allow you to play your PC games. It's going to
That's a PC. If you can play PC games, it's a PC.
Have backward compatibility. It's going to have leading-end performance. But there's material work to do to make sure that it is available to the people that want to play. And so we're working on that.
To this end,
the key word there, they'll be available for people that want to play, which is keeping up with the Joneses, right? Is every person that is excited when a new piece of tech comes out, they buy it, right? They buy it. It's what it is, right? It's a console. No, it's a PC. It's a PC. If it plays PC games, it's a PC.
and you have warned about a coming crash in consumer electronics. What does that look like in gaming and beyond?
Look, I think it's pretty interesting because if you think back, gaming was really the proving ground for compute and AI. So it's pretty interesting that now 25 years later, with the AI infrastructure happening, that we are in this position. But I actually
Hold on a second. Listen to what she's saying now.
gaming was really the proving ground for compute and AI. So it's pretty interesting that now 25 years later, with the AI infrastructure happening, that we are in this position. But I actually see it as great that every industry now gets to benefit from advances in computation. And so for us, I think that we have to think very differently about storage and memory going forward. We will have to apply new techniques so that we can compress that. We will have to empower customers to have very flexible storage offerings. We will have to empower.
You mean like a PC where I can remove the storage and put the storage that I want into it? Is that what you mean? Like a PC?
New types of games. So they can fit on device. And so there's going to be a lot of innovation. This will take years, not days, not weeks, but we'll go through it together with the community.
Now we're going to turn to the audience for questions soon. One thing I've been very interested in is the question of exclusivity. Previous Xbox leaders took exclusivity off the table. It seems like after Showcase, it's back on. Clockwork Revolution and Gears of War E-Day, both exclusives. What led to the pivot?
Look, I think that we are the number 2 publisher in the world, and when you do that, you want your games to be everywhere. You're stronger when the world plays with you. At the same time, we are increasingly becoming more of a platform, and it's hard to find examples of platforms out there that don't have exclusive services and content. And so this is a journey for us. Our business isn't particularly healthy, as you noted, and so we're starting by introducing 1 to 2 signature exclusives. And as the business is healthy, we will look to try and do more.
Questions for Asha from the audience? Oh.
I'm going to listen to that again.
You're stronger when the world plays with you. At the same time, we are increasingly becoming more of a platform, and it's
a platform like Game Pass, where you can just play it anywhere. Doesn't matter if you have a box, doesn't matter if you have a computer, doesn't matter if you have a phone.
Hard to find examples of platforms out there that don't have exclusive services and content. And so this is a journey for us. Our business isn't particularly healthy, as you noted, and so we're starting by introducing 1 to 2 signature exclusives. And as the business is healthy, we will look to try and do more.
Questions?
Just 4 games. Remember what Phil said? Just 4 games, and a whole bunch of games went over to their thing. Now it's just a few, and see what happens. Look, I hope the plan's the plan until it's not the plan, right? I hope the plan stays the plan, but then again, if it doesn't stay the plan, a new plan is created, and then that plan is the plan.
For Asha from the audience. Oh, we have a lot of hands. Okay. Hello, in the front here. Your name and who you're with. Oh, we have so many questions for you.
Hi, Kathy Hackle, CEO of Future Dynamics. I've got a question for you around...
That's not a lot of people in the room, just to say. And everyone in the audience, there's no young people.
around world models and kind of the role that gaming plays.
None of these people in the audience play video games. Let me just say, these guys are the people that play 1 hour a week.
You've got, for example, Roblox introducing Roblox Reality, going into video world models. How is Xbox going to start to use the infrastructure of gaming to power the future of AI?
Yeah, great question. So just in terms of a priority set, for me, I'm very much focused on core before more. At the same time...
Core before more. Okay, that's good.
Kind of going back to what I said, AI has always been part of gaming, right? The GPU wasn't invented for researchers to train neural nets. It was invented for, better spaceships and dragons and better frame rates. And so in many ways, I think that gaming will continue to lead the way on a lot of this technology. Look, coming from the AI world before this, a bit of a different point of view. I don't believe world models will replace AAA games. I believe that AI can certainly invent a new genre of games, but they're just going to be different. A
new genre of games. Okay.
If you think about GitHub Copilot or Codex or Claude Code, you can maybe single shot a vampire survivor game because the parameters are pretty defined and understood. But when it comes to economies and matchmaking and social dynamics, this is a systems problem, not a content problem. And in my first 100 days, I've really come to appreciate the depth and the complexity of art. And so I think AI will be really important in production pipelines and prototyping and things like that. I think it will be really important for new forms of content that come up. But I don't necessarily see world...
I'll be very interested to know what those new forms of content will be in video game speak, right? Like, we have the battle royales, we have the extractions, we have the PvP, we have the RPGs. You have the strategy, you have the racing, you have the sports, right? What new genre is the AI going to make, and what games they're going to push on those type of thing, right? Are they going to just take the new category, the new genre, and like merge two other genres together? Are they just going to make a new genre up? And then once that new genre is made, we just get an influx of that new genre?
Models being the replacement for 50 to 80 hours of gameplay in a really complex universe that gets created in AAA.
A quick follow, AI slop in gaming, how do you keep it off your platform?
I think we just have to be really principled. I think
Can you define what AI slop is?
there's this misnomers that gamers, the gaming industry hates AI. I actually believe that's absolutely not true. I think that they have demanded the industry to push computation forward. They've always been at the frontier. Real-time networking, online.
Is she talking about the fans, or is she talking about the people that make the games? Because the people that make the games are the ones that push and tell you that the graphics are higher fidelity, higher frame rate, all this other stuff, right? We always talk about the bar, and the bar just needs to get incrementally better, not exponentially better. So what is she talking about when she's asking that they've always been the forefront? The people that are asking for stuff, right? Like, for instance, Star Wars Battlefront, EA decided to take it from what it was, the original, from Radioactive or New Radical when they created it, to make it what they created as photorealism. Did we, the players, were like, man, I hope the next Battlefront is photorealism? No, we didn't push that. We didn't push that in any way, shape, or form. All we wanted was a Battlefront 3 from the original thing. They decided they wanted to make it and push the envelope. Now the envelope is so far up on the ceiling that graphics can't go any higher, right? Graphics, you have to do photorealism. Photorealism is photorealism, right? So that is the closest that you're going to get for better graphics, right? Now you can change the frame rate. You can do all the different things that you can do that way to make gameplay feel better. But for the most part, they've decided to push the envelope. They decided to make things more expensive. They decided to make a $350 million game, $450 million game, $500 million game. Why is it that Vampire Survivor is a hit? Why is it that Pal World is a hit? Why is it that Minecraft is a hit? Why is it that the things that are not graphically intense, massive hits? But yet they'll show you the one game because of Grand Theft Auto. They'll be like, oh, well, this is what everyone wants. We didn't ask for that. They decided to do that.
Infrastructure. It's all AI. I actually believe that's absolutely not true. I think that they have demanded the industry to push computation forward. They've always been at the frontier. Real-time networking, online infrastructure. It's all started with gaming. And I think that because of that, they're just very protective of adding technology for technology's sake. We have to solve a problem. And so anything that we will do will be to solve a problem, to solve a developer problem, to solve a player problem, not to just paint it all over the experience.
Other questions for Asha? Oh man, we have so many hands.
Okay.
All right, we have a question right over here.
Ask him.
Hello, your name and who you're with.
Oh, he's the young one. Okay, let me hear it, kid. What you got?
I'm Asher, and I'm with my dad. When you were a kid, what were you building or obsessed with, and did you see yourself being a CEO of a large company?
Great question, Asher. When I was a kid,
I played with an abacus.
honestly, I never obsessed on what I wanted to be when I grew up. I only obsessed on what I wanted to do, whether it was selling coupon books or putting on concerts so I could raise money, so I could have my lunch money, whether it was being the best at taking out the trash at the park that I worked at. I just tried to obsess on being great at what I was doing so I could earn the next job. And I think it's really special to be the CEO of Xbox. It's beyond my wildest dreams.
Other questions? We have time for one more. Maybe we have time for one
Hey,
more
Asha,
after that.
Stephen Wolf Pereira from Alpha Governance Group. I'm so curious, you spoke about makers over managers, and obviously the creator economy is so important. How do you view creators as a part of your strategy going forward?
Great question. I think they're incredibly important part of our strategy. I think that the way I think about it is we've got incredible studios that are in-house and they need to be our first customer so we can rapidly iterate. We've got an incredible platform of third-party developers. And the next generation of creators, I envision a world where Xbox is where the world plays and creates. Increasingly, we're seeing that players want to participate. And so we need to open up our platform and have the tools for, customization and extensions and all of those things.
You mean like a PC? Yeah. Which is kind of funny because Microsoft never wanted to make PCs. They only wanted to make the operating system on the PCs, right? That's why they got out of the PC business and went into the Windows business. And now here we are. They made a gaming system, which Bill Gates famously didn't want. He didn't want to get into this business. And here we are 25 years later. Okay, 25 years later. And Xbox is now making themselves into a PC where, by her own words, people can create and make extensions and whatnot. It'll be very interesting to see what happens now that Xbox is going to be a PC, but it's not going to have Windows on it, right? It's going to be in the background, I guess.
Platform and have the tools for, customization and extensions and all of those things, and maybe even in game creation as well, amateur game.
Mo, let me teach you something. A pig is a pig. And if I put lipstick on that pig, it's not a woman now. It's a pig with lipstick. If you make a console and it can play PC games on the console is no longer a console because the console is now as expensive as a PC. So the PC with lipstick on it now is a PC, not a console. For her own words, their platform.
Game creation. So I think there's a ton of opportunity. If you look at kind of gaming akin to entertainment, the top 2 box office hits right now are from YouTubers. And so I think that this is a special space. I think the more types of creations will bring more types of players.
We actually have time for one more. Hand back there.
Hi, I'm Tarun Chandrasekhar, CPO Syndigo. So you have 50 million plus active devices running Xbox today with increasingly better...
Did he say 15 or 50? 50. You have 50.
You have 50 million plus active devices running Xbox today with increasingly better silicon, right? A lot of the framework we've had so far is about how does AI get into gaming. But my question is, how does Xbox get into AI? You have edge computing, you have Microsoft building the largest AI infrastructure. And if I was to expand the idea of gaming, this is the biggest time we're thinking where, when we were 30 years ago, we were all building PCs and starting to write our own code and writing our own learning programming. It's that world today when it comes to local inferences, right? I can tell you a number of us here have probably gone and built a new RTX 5090 box, not to...
No, sir, not a lot of people have. You're probably in that 1%, but it's okay.
Game, but to actually run a local Gemma 14 billion parameter. Are there any plans to expand the scope of what you would call entertainment or growing gaming to actually allow for that next generation of AI development that becomes more and more edge compute?
Yeah, so great question. This is definitely not our Allbirds moment where we're going to turn Xbox.ai. Look, that said, I think you could certainly locally inference today with the GPUs on an Xbox, and developers can do that if they so choose. I think my focus right now has to be on winning the core of gaming, and if that so means that game developers and gamers want to locally inference, we'll make that available. That hasn't been the top ask, especially with a number of other devices that are on the market, a number of the other innovation that Microsoft is making available. But we are, we're part of Microsoft, and so should that need arise, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, I like reading into people. Okay, just the mannerisms that they have. So when the question's asked, and obviously, I'm not saying she's uncomfortable, but your brain processes stuff. So she hears the question, and now it clicks in her head. Well, I can't really answer that straight up. So
Great question. This is definitely not our Allbirds moment where we're going to turn Xbox.ai.
Right, nervousness, laughter, because she is uncomfortable. Because I'm not saying that maybe he hit something that is down the road. Obviously, she's the CEO. She knows things, right? So she's like, oh, shit, right? Again, this is me just speculating, just reading what she's doing, okay? And then she has to think about it, right? She looks up out to nowhere, and then she looks down, right? Because when you're looking for answers, you look up, okay? And then you look down, and you're like, what can I come up with here?
So
right? Instantaneously moves down. Okay. She knows, but now she's trying to process, how can I say something that doesn't get me in trouble? Because if the slightest thing that she says, the slightest thing could change the trajectory of everything. Right. So she's got to be very careful as the CEO.
look, that said, I think you could
see now she's got her shit together, looks directly at the gentleman that asked the question now.
certainly locally inference today with the GPUs on an Xbox, and developers can do that if they so choose.
And that is the answer, right? That's the answer, because that's what she knows. And he knows that because he seems like he's pretty smart and can build computers and stuff.
I think my focus right now
She took a quick little
locally inference today
right here.
GPUs on an Xbox, and developers can do that if they so choose.
Get a moment of a quick togetherness here.
I think my
Close the eyes, right? You can see Sarge do this on stream, right? When I ask him a question, he closes his eyes for a second to get his thoughts together. She's doing that quick little thing right there, right? Like, okay.
Focus right now has to be on winning the core of gaming, and if that so means that the game developers and gamers want to.
Right. So what she's saying right now, she's looking directly at the gentleman saying this because she's confident in what she's saying.
To locally inference, we'll make that available. That hasn't been the top ask, especially with a number of other devices that are on the market, a number of the other innovation that Microsoft is making available. But we are, we're part of Microsoft, and so should that need arise, we'll take a look at it.
See, very uncomfortable at that point. She's like, okay, I think I said that correctly. I think we got out of that, right?
As we
you can see her even with her hands, that she's look. A lot of people are not public speaking. When I first started speaking and stuff like that, you're nervous, right? You can go look at my videos and stuff from the very beginning of my time. Okay, compared to what I am now, I'm much more comfortable in front of the camera now. Okay, but people's mannerisms and stuff like that. That's how people play poker. The tales of people that say certain things or do certain things.
Wrap up this conversation. I should tell you, as I was preparing for this interview, I talked a lot to my friend Ryan, who's a very serious gamer, owns 6 Xboxes.
Why would you own 6? First of all, if I own 1 Xbox or if I own 6 Xboxes, that doesn't make you a better gamer than someone else. Why do you own 6 Xboxes? Now, I've owned 6 Xboxes through the years, okay, with Xbox and Xbox 360 and Xbox. Well, actually, I only owned 4, right? So what's happening?
And he pointed out to me, 25th anniversary, coming up in November, and gaming is so identity-driven. Mm-hmm. So what does it mean to be, as opposed to a PlayStation player or a Nintendo gamer, what does it mean to be an Xbox gamer today?
Look, I'm still getting to know our community. It's vast and it's really special. But the thing that I've really come to appreciate about Xbox in my first 100 days is it's always been a bit different. Like the players and the teams have always dared to do something no one else did. They put an Ethernet on the Xbox before anyone believed in online gaming. We launched Xbox Live before people.
You wouldn't say Mo, that I'm a big gamer. I own 6 Xboxes. You would say I've been an Xbox supporter over the years. right? I've owned all the Xboxes or whatnot, right? Obviously, the girl on stage is not a gamer, hence why she had to ask her friend about the question.
People understood social, and they are really rooting for each other and have come to the table to help each other through good times and hard times. And I think that's incredible and unbeatable.
Asha, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
That didn't answer anything. All right, well, great. It was an okay interview. I mean, it's a whole lot of, put a bunch of gamers in the room and have her ask questions or answer questions from the gamers, different than those people in the crowd there. Those people in the crowd were not gamers. We're not gamers. Okay? They've gamed at one point, but they're all business people. They're all business people running companies and whatnot, except the kid. His dad made him ask the question. So from that, we're going to move over to the other Xbox story here. Okay. Where it says, I went to the Xbox showcase, met with the Xbox executives, fans, and developers, and something has changed, but for how long? Right? So we'll read this, give you my thoughts here. You started with the 360 and own 5. Well, if you own the same, like the S and the X are the same generation. It's just a lower box to a higher box. So if you own 2 of those, you're still owning the same generation. You could say you own it, but do you play different games on the S than you do on the X? No, you play the same games. All right, so there's the Xbox, there's the Xbox 360, there's the Xbox One, and then there's the Xbox Series. There's only been 4 Xboxes. But I own a television set, and the television set can play Xbox games, and I own a cell phone, and the cell phone can play Xbox games, and I own a tablet, and the Xbox can also be played on the tablet. I also own a VR headset, so I own a lot more Xboxes. All right, so Jez Gordon here says, I went to the Xbox showcase, met with the Xbox executive, fans, and developers. Something has to change, but for how long? It says Xbox is on a tear right now with a lot of positive momentum, but one question I want to ask above all others are actually in it for the long haul. Okay, it says the Xbox showcase is wrapped up and it feels like it's the start of a new era. And because I love how this word, right? It feels like we talked about this 2 weeks ago, right? And again, this is nothing against Asha. I'm only using Asha because she's the CEO. She comes in, she's like I moved the furniture in front of the door. I took the bookshelf and put it in front of the window. She came into my house and said, hey, why don't you move the bookshelf away from the window? You'll get more light in here. Why don't you move the couch away from the door so people can get in? And all of a sudden, everyone was like, oh, these are great ideas, right? All she did was redo what everyone else fucked up on, which you would think that anybody with the right mind wouldn't have done the process ahead of time, meaning raising the price of Game Pass to $30. Dumb move. Obviously, you would have to return that back, okay? Making your first-party title games everywhere when you said it was only going to be 4 games, and then they started putting more games on the actual thing. Raising the price of the actual console, which is still high. She's not changing that, at least for now, okay? These are things that you're like, duh. So it's not like she's super, amazing because she's like, hey, move this, lower that. Why don't we make this exclusive? Like, oh, this is amazing. How come no one else thought about this? Okay. In the first Xbox showcase, the full and shiny new leadership layer, including Matt Ball on strategy, Matt Booty on content, and Asha Sharma on the top overseeing it all. But honestly, more than that, Xbox has received a new branding on a lot of the flowing language and promises already. Everyone from the biggest cynics to reportedly burned fans are wondering if Xbox is, a truly in it to win it this time, myself included. That was the top of the mind for me as I met with the Xbox fans, developers, engineers, executives at the Summer Game Fest and Xbox Showcase proper. Here's what I learned about the Xbox strategy. Now, this gentleman right here, Mr. Satya Nadella, is the guy who fucked it up. Guess what? He's still here. He's still here. Okay? And what a great picture. He's probably saying something and she's like, I'm gonna change everything you have. Okay? New incoming Xbox executives ask Satya Nadella directly if he's truly serious. Okay, I spoke to a variety of Xbox executives throughout the week about what the state of the play is for Microsoft's gaming operations. CEO Asha Sharma hasn't been shy about the problems facing Xbox either. In the Fortune interview just yesterday, which we just watched, just once again described the Xbox doesn't exactly have a healthy business, despite rocking up the revenues that are now supply Windows itself. Asha noted in the interview that Xbox has executed in days, but will take years for it to show up on the scoreboard. For anyone paying attention, Microsoft under Satya Nadella hasn't really shown itself to be a company that thinks of it in terms of years. No, because if they had years, Satya wouldn't have told Phil what to do and change it, right? Think about this. Phil Spencer, I don't know what he said, but as he said stuff in the past, it would take years. Satya said, no. It doesn't take years. Well, now here we have the new CEO saying it doesn't take days, it takes years. Saying the exact same thing that Phil Spencer said in the past, but now it's good, and before it wasn't. It says that has been problematic for the core gaming business where the best products take several years to develop. It felt to me as though as CEO Satya Nadella and CFO Amy Hood were under an assumption that Call of Duty would solve Xbox's woes somehow. The opposite happened. Call of Duty was disrupted by the Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass was distributed by Call of Duty, or disrupted by Call of Duty, and the hardware continued to freefall decline. Xbox, like the rest of the industry, is on a fragile ground, owning the variety of factors, and interesting to see how the Xbox is framing it under Asha Sharma. Okay. It says Microsoft acquired a ton of studios specifically to deliver exclusive content for Xbox in previous years, but its misguided 30% accountability margin, which was put in effect by Amy Hood and Satya Nadella, accountable margins targeted from the top force of Xbox to give up its own ecosystem in attempts to sell more software. Okay, and the underlying Satya, for short term, spreading the content out over a broader array of platforms and robbing Xbox ecosystem or its raising deterrent, a process of fans, detractors alike question Microsoft's commitment to its own ecosystem. As results, as the negative impact speaks for itself. Yeah, let's go back to this. 28.3 million consoles sold this console generation. Okay. Where's the other Xbox? Xbox One, 58 million. Right? 58 million. Which is still not good, but better than the last one. Still 30 million below, or way below, right? 117 million for PlayStation 4. Yet, again, Satya's plan for what they were doing is what caused this, not what Xbox plan was. It says, I asked every incoming Xbox leader about the current strategy, noting that Xbox fans and onlookers find the content and tactical changes to be exhausting. A specific wanted to know if Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution shifted to Xbox exclusivity would be a short-lived experiment, CEO, or until the CFO, Amy Hood, comes knocking and boosts margins. What they told me was encouraging, and it echoed Satya Nadella's previous internal town hall comments about being long on gaming. One executive told me that they wouldn't have been so eager to come out aboard if it were not the direct talks of Nadella himself about Microsoft's long-term commitment to the ecosystem. They left convinced, immediately took the job. Now, what happened? Right? Again, these are the same people, right? These are the same people that work there right now that told Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, and Sarah Bond, this is what's happening. Then they fired Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer. They weren't let go. They were fired. Okay. Asha Sharma comes in and does the exact same thing they were doing before. Again, on that treadmill now, where they're not moving. They made no leeway. They hurt the brand. Excuse me. They hurt the brand themselves. All right. They hurt Game Pass. They hurt the brand. They hurt their console sales across the board. This is what they did. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's changed. Oh no, we believe in the product now. It says, excuse me, someone in the chain seems to have changed Satya Nadella's mind on the Xbox's future. Xbox cannot function like a simple software vendor peddling content. Culture is driving factor of the gaming, and the way Xbox has been showing up over the last few years is fractured and is previously a very passionate and tightly knit community. Well, what happened? What changed? Think about this for a second, guys. Think about this just for a second. It couldn't have been Phil Spencer. I'm not trying to fend for Phil Spencer, but just think about it. When Phil Spencer came in, his vision was one thing. Something changed. What changed? All the way up until what point? Anybody want to take a guess in the chat? What changed what Phil Spencer was doing? Because everything was fine. It was growing. But what happened? The Activision deal happened. Once the Activision deal happened, everything changed. You can see the demeanor of Phil Spencer. It was like he wasn't even speaking for Xbox anymore. He was speaking as a mouthpiece for Microsoft, which technically he is anyway, right? But Call of Duty, Activision, that's when it all changed. That's when Satya Nadella was like, this is what we're doing, because they spent $70 billion, right? And then all of a sudden, they still spent that $70 billion. Now they got rid of the people because they took the fall for the same person that's been at the company this entire time, which is Satya Nadella. Okay, given how close the platforms in terms of functionality, exclusivity, content became a central purchasing factor of the console ecosystem, one executive referred me to the recent study by Circana, which suggests that exclusive games are still a primary driving force behind purchasing decisions. It's illogical on paper. Netflix, Spotify, etc. are not hardware-specific platforms. The idea for the content being locked on specific devices is uniquely a gaming thing, but it is a thing ignored by the cultural reality has been an Xbox determinant. Okay? Here's this little thing. It says console gaming, exclusive content titles remain the top reason for playing on console. Though the motivations have dropped 8 percentage points since Q1 of 2025, playing with friends and family are easier social play and preference for the casual living room setting also continue to drive console use. Reason to play games on console. There are games I want to play and exclusives to the console, 41%. Okay, down 8 points. Friends and family also play on console, 38%. Easier to play together with friends and family, 37%. Prefer to play games on more casual setting, i.e. living room, 36%. And have more options to buy physical games for console, 24%. Okay. Another staffer suggests that to me that indeed the current Xbox leadership does not view exclusive games as a restrictive financial problem to be overcome. Instead, they see it as a strength and even the privilege to use the worlds that users are willing to invest in their hardware ecosystem on the basis of a love for these worlds and their positive association with the Xbox brand. They now see the opportunity to create culture and community around the Xbox brand, which is dedicated hardware ecosystems is a core. Games and brands, merchandising, movies, TV shows, and the rest of cementing out of from that for Xbox now and driving unit in culture. Here's the problem. If you're a person, right, if you're a person that doesn't own a system right now, you're in the greatest spot ever, right? Because you're like, I don't own PlayStation, I don't own Xbox. Like, you've never gamed before. You're a new kid, or you're a new adult that's getting into gaming for the very first time, and you look at all these things and said, well, what should I buy? Whatever you decide, if it's PlayStation, if it's Xbox, if it's Nintendo, if it's a PC, okay? At that point, whatever you decide to buy, you're open to pick and choose. But let's say you buy Nintendo because of Mario, right? Mario Kart, that's the exclusive type of stuff. Well, now you're in that ecosystem. You're in that ecosystem because all the other stuff that comes out for the third-party games is not the same kind of third-party games as Sony and Xbox, right? So now you're stuck in that unless you go buy another system, okay? That's why third-party games are the best, because they're mostly cross-platform. You can play them no matter what system you're on, with across other people to other consoles, and this is fantastic, right? This is why a lot of people don't buy first-party titles anymore, because if their friend's on another thing and they want to play with their friend, because the 1 hour a week, according to Asha Sharma on that stat, 70% of people only play 1 hour a week, they probably want to play either by themselves or they want to play with their friend. And if their friend doesn't have the same game on the same system, well, then how are they going to play with each other, right? They can't. But they can if it's a third-party game, like a Fortnite, Microsoft, Marvel's, right? All these other games. Once you choose and pick what ecosystem you want to be on, you're trapped in that ecosystem. Because the more you buy for that ecosystem, the more it's harder to leave that ecosystem. This is why people don't buy other things until the next iteration of that console, right? So if I'm on PlayStation and I go to the next PlayStation, I'm going to probably move over to the next PlayStation because I have my back catalog. I can play it backwards, right? And then so on and so forth. Same with Xbox, same with Nintendo. It says, indeed, the culture is a tricky thing to showcase in spreadsheets for the chief financial officer, but it's pretty obvious that to any human paying attention to how much brand damage Microsoft's previous strategy has created for Xbox, what truly underscores is the fact that Xbox has planned a Halo campaign evolved to show up on Sony's State of Play event, only for Asha Sharma to come in and pull it at the last minute. Even though I think it was a smart move to pull it off of Sony. Okay, you do irreparable damage. Okay, because you're putting Halo over on PlayStation. Halo, regardless of any other franchise, Halo is an Xbox, is a Microsoft brand. Okay, you want to put all the other ones on there? Cool. You want to put it up there? Halo has always been a multi-platform game. It's been on Apple, right? It's been on PC. It's always been multi-platform. It's just never gone to the other thing. To show it at the Sony event and put it there. Now, it's funny because when they showed the trailer, it said recorded on Sony, okay, on a PlayStation. But I think it was smart of her to pull it, okay? Now, if people are pissed off about it or whatever, I think it was very smart because to see it advertised when that's your brand. Like, does Sony have like a main mascot? No, Halo is the mascot for Xbox, right? The green, just everything about it is Master Chief. Okay, if God of War came over to Xbox and they showed it on the trailer and stuff like that, that would devalue the IP brand for Sony. They don't want to do it. Sony's smart on this, right? So I think it was smart of Asha to pull the Halo. Even though Halo is still coming to PlayStation, I think it was smart to pull it from the actual show. It says Xbox previous leadership had their hearts in the right place in the perfect world. No games would be locked in any platform, but not only would it be simply not to live in that world, PlayStation, Nintendo, and also increasingly value the activity rejecting that idea. Xbox won't survive if its only competitor playing a nice guy. And someone, somehow, and financially convinced Satya Nadella of that, right? And that's true, right? To be like, oh yeah, put our stuff everywhere. Now, you can still play your games on the television set, and the cell phone, the tablet, right? You could do all these things still. They just got rid of the marketing. They just got rid of the marketing and said, everything's not an Xbox, but everything's still an Xbox. Everything's still an Xbox. They make it more convenient for you, the gamer, to go play where you want to play, right? They're not advertising it that way, okay? It says the next 25 years of Xbox was the intentional language. It says, when I brought up the concept of Microsoft changing its mind, one executive mentioned to me that this is one reason they keep referring to the next 25 years of Xbox. They know that people feel burned by the Microsoft over some of the products amidst Windows Phone. It says, I want to impress upon people that Xbox gaming is now a pillar of Microsoft alongside Windows, Office, and Azure. Satya Nadella making the changes that he did, a lot of people were burned like, oh, what are they doing with this? They're destroying the gaming. When they changed it to Microsoft Gaming, okay, that's when people were like, oh, God, here we go, right? So now, the next 25 years, right, are people burned? Yeah, they feel burned, right? Are they going to keep it for the next 25 years as Xbox Gaming and stuff like that? Perhaps. Who knows? 5 years from now, they could change their mind yet again. The plan is the plan until it's not the plan, right? They see Xbox leading Microsoft's entire consumer-facing operations, casting halo effect pun, over the Microsoft brand all up. I refer to those top stories by which Microsoft won major corporate contracts for Azure and Office 365 on the basis of clients' love for Xbox rather than the server tech. Indeed, Xbox and gaming more broadly is fun, and it connects with people and fundamentally hard to measure level, and it can also almost be described as spiritual. I've never been attached to anything like that. So I play games wherever I want to play games. The only reason, I've said this before, I don't own a PlayStation 5 this time around is because when I had the money, they didn't have them in stock. And that was back in 2020, when it came out and stuff like that. And I happened to get an Xbox instead of a PlayStation. That's it. Right. And now I can't afford a PlayStation because it's just too much. And if the shoe was on the other foot where I owned a PlayStation and wanted to buy an Xbox, still too much. Right. Since I've been amongst the more cynical and negative people about Microsoft direction as of late, he says, I'm daring myself to find some optimism right now. There's also be tough times ahead. Memory costs are still up 700% since the start of the generation. Games take longer to make than ever. Geopolitics is making it difficult for the U.S. brands to globalize. And crucial parts of Xbox backend, such as dev tools, marketing, and publishing layers, have been critically underfound for years. But like Asha said, Xbox and Microsoft seem to have accepted that, and it'll take years for the moves to show up on the scoreboard. It says, it's clear to me that the current Xbox exclusive layer known exactly what needs to be done, or executives know what needs to be done. More importantly, it seems that Microsoft corporate is giving them a large runway necessary to execute the strategy. But how long? We thought there was a runway for Phil Spencer. Well, that runway ran out, and that's why he's gone. The latter point is the most important takeaway is brought back from LA this week. So it'll be interesting to see what Xbox does, right? Do I think it's good to have the exclusives? I do. But at the same time, I've always said I liked Sony's business model better, where if their first-party titles come out, they keep them for like 2 years on PlayStation, and then they put them over on PC. They don't have to come to Xbox. I think Xbox has been doing the exact same thing. I think Xbox that have the first-party titles, put them on PC still, right? Because that's not a direct competitor to them. Okay, it's just a more place where they can actually, which they've always done. They've always done that, multi-plat, as far as for Halo and stuff. So they can still do that. They don't have to put it on PlayStation. Now, again, Sea of Thieves, Minecraft, all this other stuff, I don't think everything has to come over like they want to do. It does do brand damage. I personally don't care, because I'm going to play the games where I want to play. Okay, if I want to buy an Xbox, I buy an Xbox. If I want to buy a PlayStation, I buy a PlayStation. But that factor now is gone because the consoles cost way too much money. Okay, even the Steam machine that's coming in, we have no idea what that is going to cost. People are like, oh, if it was $500, $600, they would buy it. Well, now if it's $1,000, $1,200, that's going to be a hard sell for a lot of people, especially for the people that were still on the old systems, right? There's 40, I think it was 47, 48% of the people over on Xbox are still over on Xbox. 58% of the people that are still on PlayStation 4 are still, over there that haven't came over to PlayStation 5. Are these people going to push the envelope or come on over 6 years into the cycle at a higher price? Usually it's at a lower price. The one big factor here is that these console prices are so high. So what's going to change? The next console that comes out that's going to be the same price as the ones that are now? Are people going to buy it? I don't think it has to do with the tail end of the console cycle or the beginning of the next one. It's the money. It's the price of these consoles are too high, and you're pushing out the people, especially from that stat in the very beginning. 70% of the people only play 1 hour a week. That's a much easier buy if it's $300 system compared to a $900 system. Okay, but these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Let's go to live chat and see what you guys have to say about this. Let's see here. Scrolling back up. GD says, Phil Spencer was just not listening to anyone or using real data, I guess. Yeah, I don't understand if you would see what Phil said, right? Phil said that to buy the games doesn't sell consoles, and he's correct, because once you're in the ecosystem of digital games, it's very hard to move over. He wasn't wrong about that. People gave him shit about that, and here we are. People don't move because they have backwards compatibility, and their other old games still work on their new system, and they're digital. So why would I leave? If I leave, I lose everything, right? Hence why they push more towards Game Pass. Most says I'm thinking of making hot links this weekend. Oh, you're thinking about food. Let's see. Victoria says, not gonna lie, Asha has such a smart choice. I'm loving this Xbox brand comeback. I don't know if it's I think it's too early to say it's a comeback. It really is just changing the furniture around right now, right? Because everything that she's doing was a mess up that they changed right before, within the last year. Like, they made these choices to raise the prices, do the things, get the exclusives, and raise the price of Game Pass, and now they're changing that super fast. They fucked up, and she comes in and makes the changes. So I'm not giving credit to her, because all the things that are still in motion, right? It's almost like, I don't want to get political, but the president that comes in, right? It takes years. Like what the president does for most of the stuff, unless they do executive orders and shit, it takes 2 years. So like the last president moves out and like stuff happens. We're like, oh, everything's changing. No, it takes time to turn the ship. It takes time to move the stuff. So all the stuff that's happening at Xbox right now is already in motion. These things are already chosen. The pricing, they can change, obviously, which they screwed up on big time. Big Bo says she tried to get everything exclusive, but couldn't happen. Point proven, right? Everything's already in motion, right, Mo? Everything's already in motion. So she's like, well, let's take that back. We're like, oh, we can't. Why not? I'm the CEO. I want to change. Sorry, under contract. Oh, too bad. Right? That's exactly my point. Things have already been put in motion. Things have already been identified of what they were supposed to do. And they're like, okay, well, this is it. Right? She just came in just a little too late. Maybe if she came and got hired in January, maybe things could have been switched. What's going on, Dark Taco? Not anymore. Halo's off the box. Well, maybe, Sarge. Maybe what they're trying to do. Okay, and I'm just thinking about this. Maybe what they're trying to do is put Halo on there, give them a sampling of what Halo is, and then next Halo comes out and they're like, "Oh, so sorry. The next Halo is not on PlayStation." So it's like a one-off of Halo. Could they do that? 100%. 100%. Just like Sony, if they start making Destiny games, single-player Destiny games that we've talked about in the past, they can make that just exclusive for Sony. Even though Bungie's always been out and Destiny games have always been out on all platforms, they can say Destiny, let's say it's Cade 6 single-player campaign, right? They make Destiny. They don't make Destiny 3. They just make a standalone Destiny game. And they're like, only on Sony. They're allowed to do that. Just like Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, and they're like, sorry, it's only on Xbox. If you want to play it, that's where it is. Let's see here. The presentation just felt like a huge middle finger to Spencer and the last regime. It is. Everything about it is just weird, though, right? And again, this is not a I hate Asha moment. This is a why did they make these moments even happen? They could have done all of this with Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty there. Matt Booty's still at the company. He's Asha's right-hand man, literally. All the things that they've made the changes for, they could have done with Phil Spencer there. He was just probably like, I'm fucking done with this. Waterbear says Xbox hasn't done anything yet. It's going to take time for them to do anything worth actually talking about. I think what they're doing now, I think it is good. The Water, I think the changes that she's making, because even the article said it and she said it, right? To make it feel like they're listening to the gamers, right? To make it feel like the brand's coming back. They're getting exclusives again. Okay, they lowered the price by $7, even though it's still up by $3. It's crazy, right? When something gets raised by $1, everyone freaks out. But when they raised it by 10, and then they lower it by 7, no one worries about the $3, right? Because it's like a magic trick. Look, my thumb's coming off. Woo! You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. It's like a sleight of hand. Here's the thing. Oh, look, they're changing stuff. It makes you feel like they're listening and whatnot. When they changed it back to Microsoft Gaming, there was a reason why they changed it from that in the first place. Do you think for one moment, Mr. I Bleed Xbox, Phil Spencer, was like, yeah, we should change to Microsoft Gaming? I don't believe so. I don't believe so, Mo. From all the interviews from over the years of what we've seen Phil Spencer talk about, there's no way in hell he was like, yeah, let's do Microsoft Gaming, right? Satya Nadella is to Xbox as Kathleen Kennedy was to Star Wars. That's what it is. Waterbear says, can you be changing the vibes is a good start, no doubt, but it also takes time for everyone to adopt it to the new vibe check. Victoria says, I'm not sure what happens in the long term, but the Xbox presentation reminded me more of something from the 2000s, early 2010s, and I think it was a good direction. Oh, absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with you there. Sarge says they destroyed the pipeline of games by the content, firing the studios to save money from the broken teams and people who also knew each other for years and worked together well. They destroyed the team. Yeah, 700%. They raised that shit. Let's see here. Just Enough says I was excited about about the Steam box. Now I'm just sad. Well, you're sad until they come out and they go at $600, and you're like, oh, well, I'm interested again. Sarge says this is why they want backwards compatibility. If they don't want you playing old games, they want your wallet in the present. Yeah. It's definitely a marketing and communication win. Exactly, as they didn't stop people from playing games on their cell phones or television sets or anything else, right? You can still do that. I can still play my Xbox on my headset there, on my cell phone, on my television set with Game Pass, right? I can play it through the cloud. All that still there. All they got rid of was everything's an Xbox. They removed that marketing campaign, so out of sight, out of mind. That's all it is. Just Enough says she was talking like she is the president, talking about her first 100 days. Right. Gotta get it in there fast, right? Because people think if you do something quick and they're like, well, man, she did this in 100 days. What could she do in 1 year? What could she do in her whole, in 4 years? That's what they do. That's what Trump did when he came into office. First 100 days, he was doing this and this and this and this and this. Then it slowed down. But they hit the ground running. They try to get everything in as possible and do as much as possible in that first 100 days. Because the persona of you as the customer or consumer, you're like, oh man, see, she's coming in, new blood, changing the stuff. Yeah, she's one of us. She's looking out for us. Mo says the next mainline Halo is exclusive. It should be. It should be. What does Ron say? Ron said after yesterday's Nintendo Direct, Nintendo's going to have a tough console generation with that weak lineup. I didn't even watch it. I'll be honest with you. I did see a couple things on Twitter when I was scrolling through. I was just like, they just got third-party games now. Imagine getting excited to be like, well, now we actually have all the games the other people have, but they're worse graphics. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go on, Titan. Mo says, so what I'm saying is they changed it to Xbox for a reason the first time. What made Stays thinking going back to Microsoft Gaming would do? I have no idea. I have no idea why they would change it. It was stupid. Titan says, imagine if this Xbox showcase was happy farewell to Phil. No, they don't do that. Corporate offices don't give a shit. They say thank you and they move you on. You're old news. That's how business works. Corporate world doesn't give two shits about people. You could be there 30 years. They'd be like, thank you for your service, and then they kick you out the door. New car smell come in. Tarnish Gaming says, it's all pathetic to me. All the fanboys pumping out their chests. Why no exclusives? Where are my exclusives? There's also most of the marketing move towards open. You can also trust fanboys will go the opposite way. It's weird to see, Tarnish, what the people are talking about. Like, again, this is I'm talking about the Sony ponies and the Xbots. These are the people that are the minority of the people, but the loudest on the social media type of stuff, right? Sony complains the entire time. Sony pony fans complain the entire time. They're like, oh, you're going to lose exclusives. They put them over there. Then they're pissed off. And then now they're going to take them away. And now they're pissed off. It's like you can't win. You can't win with this small group of people. Same with these people over here. They don't thinking for themselves. They're thinking for for their imaginary stock market prices that they have, that they don't have any stocks in the actual company itself. PS5 Blow says no Destiny 3. Sony's broke. We're going to go over a Destiny story in just a second. 600? Really believe that? No. I just said 600 because he said he's sad because the Steam machine it made him sad. I said, well, that'll change your mind if it comes out as 600. As a gamer, I don't know why gamers cheer for exclusives. They want their value. That's it. Think about this in any other format. Any other format. If I want to go see a specific movie that came out, right? Masters of the Universe. But Masters of the Universe was only in AMC theaters. But you don't live near an AMC theater. You would be pissed off about that, wouldn't you? You'd be like, well, why is it only on AMC theaters? Right? Or vice versa, it's on Regal. Right? Or you're listening to a radio station, but they can't play certain songs because Comcast radio network or whatever, whoever owns it now, okay, can't play their music because it's exclusive to the thing. You'd be like, well, that's stupid. You have to have what people are asking for exclusives. It is dumb. Back in the day, Sony had the Sony Beta player, right? And then they had the VHS and the Blu-ray player. Imagine if you could only play Sony games or Sony movies on that player. And to get another movie, you would have to get RCA to play the other movie. So you would have to have like 4 or 5 different VCRs or DVD players or Blu-ray players just so you could play the movies on that specific platform. It's stupid. But yet in video games, they're like, oh yeah, it's exclusive because they want to buy the box. I'm okay with exclusives, timed exclusive type of stuff, right? If you put your money into it and you want to put it on there for a certain period of time, fantastic, right? That's why I think PC is a great format because it's on the Xbox and then it goes to PC. If it's on the PlayStation, it goes to PC. You can play it down the road. You just have to wait year, 2 years. If you want the thing day one, you have to get the console on that, for that. So you want to play God of War, you want to play E-Day, you got to get these consoles to play these things. If you don't, then you got to wait, right? You pay the admission to get in early type of thing. Ron says Steam machine has to be $1,000. There is no way it's cheaper. Okay, well, we'll see. I don't care either way. If it's cheap, I'll buy it. If it's not cheap, I don't buy it. PS5 says I just want exclusives because it makes the ponies go mental. Mo says one big thing that we'll keep saying until my face turns blue is Game Pass needs to be advertised to the world. Can't be in the greatest deal in gaming if nobody knows about it. Well, that's true. That is true. They don't really advertise as much for it. PS5 says Xbox gets good. PS5 blows says it gets good exclusives. Xbox gets good exclusives. Sony gets turds. Ponies are realizing this. Let's see. Waterbear says, so 30, do you feel like exclusives are good or bad for gaming? To be honest, I feel like they could be good. Remember, gaming was actually good back when the exclusives were a thing. I've never liked exclusives. Right? I'm a Gen Xer. I've never liked exclusives, right? I actually had a conversation years ago when I like things that were multi-plat, right? When you could get it on PC, you can get it on Xbox, you can get it on the stuff like that. I like stuff like that. A lot of people are like, no, I like the exclusive. I never liked exclusives. Obviously, I'll buy it, but then again, I've always been a person that's bought every single console. This is the first generation I've never bought all the consoles. First generation. I used to own every single system that would come out. The only system I've never owned, okay, like major systems, I've never owned the Jaguar because I had a friend that had it, was a good friend of ours, right? I've never owned the Neo Geo. Again, there wasn't enough games on that thing to purchase that. I never owned a Sega CD, but I owned all the other Sega systems leading up to Sega Dreamcast when it stopped. I've owned all the PlayStation systems. We've owned all the Nintendo systems. Right? The only one I didn't own was GameCube, and my wife owned that. Right? So when we started dating and stuff, she owned that, so I didn't have to buy that. Right? We've owned every single system. The only one I didn't own, which is the PlayStation 5, which now in gaming where we are, You don't need to own all the systems unless you want to play the first-person party titles, and I don't care about the first-party titles because I don't like that type of game anymore. So I'm like, I don't need it because all the third-party games I want to play, they're on Xbox, they're on PC, so I'm good. Let's see. Mo says, I want both exclusives day and date. I'm a fan of my wallet. Right. You know, we make fun of you and stuff, Mo, but E-Day and, Revolution, Clock Revolution and stuff like that, I'm happy that I'm more happy that they're on Game Pass than they're on just Xbox. You know what I'm saying? As a gamer, I don't want to pay $80 for a game, $70 for a game. I'll pay $22, $23 for Game Pass to play that game, beat that game, and put that game away, right? Like, I'm a fan of my wallet, right? It's exactly right. I'm a fan of my wallet. Turner says, why do folks look exclusives at this golden pie in the sky? The best games this gen have come from outside developers. Yeah, third-party games are most of the best games out there. There was hope before the Steam Deck. Price got raised. Yeah, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. The price of that thing is just like, they've lost their mind. They've lost their mind. The model doesn't work. It sounds good. Only on Sony on paper, but also the games aren't good enough for PC players to wait a year. They also spend to have proven to spend their money elsewhere. Sure. Yeah, but if you wait, right, if God of War comes out later or Wolverine comes out on PC later, no skin off my back. If I'm a PC gamer, I'll be like, I have all these other games to play. When Wolverine does come to PC, I'll be like, okay, I'll pick it up. You know what I mean? They think that because they make something, you have to buy it. That's not how that works. If you make a good product, people will buy it. And if people want to buy it because there's no other thing out there. Remember back in the day, Tarnish, you're an older gamer, right? Back in the older days, there wasn't that many games. So like when a new game came out, there was like 400 games coming out a year, right? There's like 400 games coming out a year, and not 400 games were good games, right? So you would like get a game and like, oh, this is going to be the good game for this year. Gotta own it. There's 19,000 games. There's 9,000 games out the first 5 months of this year, right? Like you don't have to buy every brand new game that comes out in the market. That's what these companies don't realize. All of these games coming out, how many games are coming out in November? Think about this for a second. How many games are coming out this year and how many are releasing in November? I only know of like one, maybe two games releasing in November, and one of them is Grand Theft Auto. Right? If the average person only buys 1 to 2 games a year and it's Grand Theft Auto is one of them, what else are they buying out of the 19,000 games that are coming out? I don't need to buy a new game. I don't need to buy a new game. Right? And let's just say I did buy the game. There was 18,000 games last year. There was 18,000 games the year before. There was 15,000 games the year before. It's like there's so many games that you've never touched or played ever before that are 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 years old, and people go back and play those games. Why? Because they're $3 now, $5 now, $10 now. There's no reason to buy a brand new game. The only reason is like, oh, I played the new game. Congratulations. It goes on your permanent record. Your next job interview, be like, hey, I know it's between me and Ted to get this job, but I played the latest game. They're like, what? You played the latest game? Well, we got to hire you. No, nobody gives a shit. Crowded says, I think they really believe that if they start making exclusives again, people will pay $900 for a console. I saw something on Twitter the other day. Someone said they showed a picture of Wolverine. No, yeah, they showed a picture of Wolverine in the game, and they said, I'm not paying this much for this game. And someone showed E-Day and said, I'm not paying this much for this game, right? You got to pay $800 if you don't own a console right now. You got to pay $870 to get E-Day. If you don't own a PlayStation, you got to pay $970 to play Wolverine. I'm good. Dolphin says 18,000 in September alone. Right? There's so many games that people can play. And then you'll find a game that will take up most of your time by just one game. Right? You guys were saying earlier there's a gentleman that's playing Crimson Desert right now, and he only plays 1 hour a week. He is set for 3 years. If that's truly the only game he plays, right? And let's say that's the only time he has to play. He's like, I love this game. I play it for an hour a week. There's 160 hours in that game. If he's only playing 1 hour a week, that's 52 hours a year. That's 104 hours in 2 years. Right? Do you know what I mean? That's 158 hours in 3 years. He's good, and he still hasn't beaten it then yet if he's only playing 1 hour a week. You think that person's going to buy 10 games, 15 games? No. Was he going to buy it so he could sit on his shelf, pay full price so he could sit on his shelf for 3 years and then not play it? Mo says, Mike, breaking news. Ubisoft Winnipeg closed, dozens laid off. Good old Ubisoft. Good old Ubisoft. All right, let's go to the next topic here. Oh, I got to add this. I'm gonna be adding this to our board. All right, this is a classic. Anytime someone does something, and they make a bad choice, we're bringing this into effect.
You chose poorly.
That's right. You chose poorly. Okay, that's going in. That's going to be like the rabbit hole. We're going to use that a lot. Because Destiny, the reason we're doing that is because Sony and Destiny 2 fans broke Steam servers tracking while saying goodbye on PC, surpassing Marathon's peak player count in minutes. Right? You chose poorly. You can see here that Destiny. Let me refresh this so we know. Okay, right now it's 76,000 people. Okay, 167,000 people. And again, this is just Steam. So you would assume that of 167,000 people are playing on Steam, and most of the people play on console, that this is probably around 500,000 concurrent players across all platforms. Okay, and that's this. So let's go see what Marathon's doing right now. Marathon Steam charts, because this is the game they chose to back. Okay, this is the game they chose to back. This is free-to-play week, by the way. I don't know if it's still going on. Maybe it ended. It says free-to-play week here, free week. So I don't know if it ended today or ends tomorrow or ends at the end of today or whatever. But this is it. The max number of this is 88,000, which today, right now, is 76,000. And Sony's decided that they're done supporting, right? So obviously they've chose poorly. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning. To noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Now, Destiny 2 fans broke Steam server tracking while also saying goodbye to PC, surpassing Marathon's peak player count in minutes. Destiny 2 players railed in forces and major update, overwhelming SteamDB and sending a clear message to Bungie. Well, a clear message to Sony, not Bungie. Bungie didn't get to choose if they wanted to close or not. Sony chose for them. Okay, it's hard to come up with words to describe the Destiny fans are, or rather have been, or over the past few weeks, but relentless certainly comes to mind. After Bungie announced it would also close the book on Destiny's live service development, it's seen nothing more than onslaught of pleas from fans begging Bungie and Sony to revive the franchise and give them Destiny 3, a sequel to Bungie's first-person RPG MMO like looter shooter. Now, players have gone so far as to flood Sony's recent State of Play broadcast, creating petitions and relying on behind a community-wide push to log in yesterday on June 9th, 2026, an effort to send a message to Bungie and Sony. Well, it showed up in force and then some. For some unaware, SteamDB is a popular free-to-access database to track all things on Steam, including player count, game updates, and sales data. Thanks to an influx of more than 167,000 players jumping into Destiny 2, the site struggled to keep up, briefly crashed under the load. Now, it wasn't just the Steam DB that struggled under the pressure. Either Destiny 2 itself had trouble handling the massive influx of players, with many across Xbox and PlayStation and PC reporting login errors as they attempt to get online. The surge of activity has also propelled Destiny 2 to the #1 spot on the Steam Global Top Seller chart. Well, it's free to play. And even also managed to finish getting a remainder of the DLC I needed to do a massive sale. It just further highlights on how many players turned up in the game's final major update. They didn't care ahead of time, by the way. This is just, unfortunately, because of the stuff they've added, which they should have added years ago, they've added now because there is no runway. Whatever they worked on and finished, they added to the actual game. It says now, while a certain one, not one for pointing fingers, many were also quick to point out that during the same period, Bungie other live service game Marathon had just 5,000 players on Steam. Even as they write this, Destiny 2 is sitting around 60,000 players, while Marathon is roughly at 7,000. So make of that what you will. Well, right now, they're at 76,000 and Marathon's at 12,000. So make that what you will. It's also worth mentioning that Destiny 2 blasted past Marathon's 88,000 player peak within minutes, which, for the lack of a better phrase, feels like a bit of a middle finger to Bungie. More than anything, though, it's also a testament of just how much people still care about Destiny and are generally impressed. Look, Destiny's been around for 12 years. Marathon's been around for 3 months. There's no loyalty to Marathon. Zero loyalty to Marathon. Okay. I never really got Destiny myself, but also I do now own all the DLC, having recently started playing it with all of my friends. It must say that it's definitely sees the appeal. Well, first of all, if you haven't played it up to this point, but now you can see the appeal, what were you doing for 12 years? It says, I say fighting the Guardians, and I hope Bungie takes notice of the massive on-cry from fans. Now, here's the thing, right? This gentleman that never even played Destiny for 12 years didn't like Destiny for 12 years. The only reason he got into it now is because they were on sale. These are his own words. The DLC, right? All that stuff was on sale, and he played it because why? It's in the news. So he got peer pressured into getting the thing to see what was going on with the actual game, to be part of this movement of, well, I was one of the people that showed up on the day. Great. You didn't show up for the last 2 years, and the number decreased dramatically. Let's go back, look at the charts, okay? Like, where was this person and everybody else that loves Destiny so much? Where were you, right? Because if you look here, June of 2024, that's way up here compared to down here at 167. That's double the amount of people. That means more than half the people that were Destiny fans just 2 years ago didn't come back. They're like, nah, I'm good. The final shape was it, okay? And that was it. Like, look at it. It says, but enough about me. Did they take part of Destiny 2, the massive login, or have you already moved on? Let me know in the comments. Yeah, a lot of people just moved on, right? And it's stupid. Look, let's look at this number real fast, right? This number is the owner estimation, right? This is not an exact number in any way, shape, or form, but potentially there's 37.73 million people that own Destiny on PC. Okay. There is a whopping 1.49 million people that own Marathon. Make it make sense. Less than, greater than. Less than, greater than. Which number has a bigger population of diehard fans that you could continue the franchise and you could get money from? The 37.73 million just on Steam, or the 1.49 million just on Steam? I don't know. I don't know.
You chose poorly.
Yeah, you chose poorly. You're idiots. Sony's idiots. Bungie's idiots. Well, I already knew Bungie was idiots. I've knew that since 2016. But here you go. So are you guys going back? Are you guys playing Destiny 2? Is it everything that you wished for in the last 12 years or 7 years of Destiny 2, and they finally fixed it for you? All right, let me know in the comment section. These are just my thoughts. Let me see what you guys are saying in here. Crowd says, I'm glad people are playing again, but those numbers aren't going to stay for Destiny. Give it to 1 or 2 months, and they'll drop off again. You're being very kind. I don't even think it lasts 1 to 2 months. We're talking maybe a couple weeks, Once they finish the content and they're just like, okay, or a new game comes out, they're gone. Tarner says, now imagine if it was exclusive. Cliff says, bull crap. If Sony said nothing about it being canceled, no one would be playing it. It would probably be the peak of Star Wars update of 70,000. That's very true, Eclipse. If no one said anything about it's ending on June 9th and they just kind of like whatever, nobody would be playing it. That show, Force proves why Destiny 3 won't do great. Well, here's the thing. A lot of people, from a business standpoint, them choosing Marathon over Destiny is dumb. Okay. From a consumer standpoint, me looking at that going, there's a lot of problems with Destiny. There's been a lot of problems with Destiny and Bungie over the years. From just they've lost the credibility, they've lost the goodwill with the people that loved Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. Then the people that loved Destiny 2 in the very beginning, they started losing them as well. So if they came out with a Destiny 3 and they did the exact same thing they did with Destiny 2, it wouldn't change. The trajectory wouldn't change. But if they made Destiny 3 and they actually listened to the player base of the people that loved the game and why they made the changes, that's why people are liking it right now, because they've added a lot of stuff that people were asking for the last 7 years. Okay, they finally put it in the game. Right? Like, where was Sparrow League Racing that people wanted? All of a sudden now they're like, oh, let's put Sparrow League Racing in. It makes you wonder, like, why were you, like, nickel and diming things? Why did you remove things and then put them back in? Right? Why didn't you just support the game that people are... Because they're greedy. They're greedy. That's why. So even if Destiny 3 came out, in my opinion, it wouldn't be the greatest game ever. Because if they just did it the same as Destiny 2, then nothing would change. If they truly wanted the fans to come back and play Destiny 3 and, be successful as Destiny 1. Destiny 1 was very successful. 15 to 20 million people bought that game. Okay. 80% drop off after they beat the campaign and they moved on. But then they built it back up with Taken King and whatnot. More people like Destiny 1 than Destiny 2. People will disagree with me. But the hardcore people that like Destiny 1... okay, also like Destiny 2, but they also prefer Destiny 1 because of everything the way it was in Destiny 1. Now, did Destiny 2 make better things inside it? 100%. There was better things they did in Destiny 2 that raised the bar from the last Destiny before. But as a business, Destiny 1 was a much better business decision than Destiny 2 was, in my opinion. Saints said they lost the Red War court case. They stole it. I'm not sure. Didn't they settle out of court or whatever? I didn't follow too closely, so I'm not too sure about that. Crowd says Eclipse exactly, and the update is 95% play old content for some new gear. It's gonna get hold. It's gonna get hold. It's gonna get old. I'm assuming that's what you're gonna say. Or it's not gonna hold. It's not gonna hold. Got it. I read it correctly now. Big Mo says sorry. I was gonna get the evil. I will calm down and name Bungie. Just grinds my gears. Saint says 30. I'm asking the same questions. Saint says I played and I'm ticked. All the stuff should have been in the game long ago. 100%, Saint. And this is why I don't go back and support Bungie. Okay? I don't support things that put stuff in and then remove the thing and then sell it back to you at a later date. I hate that. I hate that what they've done. I've said this for a decade now. For a decade. Since 2016. We're in 2026 now. I've been saying the same thing about Bungie for 10 years. Dolphin says, I've bought every collector's edition, every release, and I'm an idiot. Sorry. That's funny because Dolphin's been here for years. It's just funny. Just enough says Destiny 3 will sell like hotcakes. I didn't give a shit about SRL when it was new in D1. I want to shoot stuff. No, I get it, but the people were asking for it, right? It's almost the same type of scenario, Crowded, that people in Marvel Rivals that want PvE, and it was like, I don't give a shit about PvE, but now they're putting PvE in there. Why? Because there's more things to do for the people that are playing the game that want that want to enjoy it. So if people were playing Destiny and they didn't want to just keep playing strikes or raids or PvP, they're like, I wish there was something else to do. If they added Sparrow League Racing, it would just be one more thing for people to do, that where it would break up the monotony of running 18 strikes a night. They would run 10 strikes and then play the racing, right? Which would keep more people in the ecosystem of Destiny because they're not burning themselves out by doing the exact same 3 things every single time, right? We've always talked about this. I don't know if you've been here when I talked about the upside down triangle, right? Games should be built like an upside down triangle where you start here and the longer you play it, the more things that branch off to do, okay? What they build is that they build a regular triangle where there's so much stuff for you to do down here, but at the end of it, you're all doing the exact same thing, right? To get the greatest gear in the game, you all have to do the Volta Glass, or you had to do, the Taken King's raid or whatever. I forget what they were called. Okay. You only had to do the one thing, right? Oh, if you want to do the Nightfalls, you had to do this one thing. You had to do it over and over and over and over. Look at what Path of Exile is doing. Look at what other games are doing. They've opened it up where you do all of this. There's so many different things that you can do. It opens up to the player base so the player base doesn't get burnt out. They did not lose the Red War case. The guy got caught lying in court. He got nothing. Yeah, see, I don't know. That's why I didn't comment on it or whatever. I was like, I think they settled out of court or whatever. Did he lose straight up? I don't even know. I didn't follow it. Justin Duff says, didn't they settle? I don't know. You want me to look it up? Let me look it up and see what happened here. Let's get it. Here you go. Let's read it on stream, shall we? Bungie reached an undisclosed full settlement with the sci-fi writer Matthew for officially dismissing the copyright lawsuit concerning the Red War Curse of Osiris campaigns in November of 2025. The legal battle made headlines because Bungie attempts to dismiss the claims were initially denied due to removal of the campaigns via the Destiny Content Vault. The plagiarism accusations, the plaintiff of writer Matthew Kessel, pen Casper Cole, alleged that Bungie lifted story elements in the Red War faction characters and background themes from his unpublished sci-fi stories posted to the World Press between 2013 and 2014. Expansion of lawsuit. The lawsuit was initially filed in October of 2024, but was later expanded by the plaintiff to include Curse of Osiris and Bungie's Destiny Grimoire anthology book. The Content Vault defense Bungie attempted to have a case thrown out early, submitting that YouTuber playthroughs and fan-made wiki entries and demonstrates that Destiny 2 was completely dissimilar to the plaintiff's work. The judge rejected Bungie's motion to dismiss, stating that the third-party videos and unofficial wikis were not reliable evidentiary proof. Lack of evidence, the court ruled, and indeed to compare the original 2017 in-game code to Red War because Bungie had previously vaulted the campaign, rendering those versions unplayable and incompatible with the game's updated engine. The company could not provide the original game as evidence to defend itself in its side-by-side analysis. Isn't that convenient? The settlement, final dismissal, after the court refused to dismiss the case without proper discovery of both parties, entered into the settlement conference. The federal judge confirmed that compromised, officially dismissing the lawsuit entirely with the standard 60-day window allowed for any reopenings. Undisclosed terms of financial figures and explicit conditions of settlement were never made public. So there you go. So even Crowded's wrong with this. Yeah, look, in my opinion, again, the court of law is what the court of law is, and they dismissed the case and they settled out of court. Okay, but if the person was taken from, and now they took down the actual thing and they don't know where it is, to do a side-by-side comparison, meaning they got rid of the evidence. Because if they had the evidence, then it would have shown that they actually took it from the gentleman's book. But because there is no evidence, because you can no longer play it, they got away with it. Just saying. Altern says they added more things now that the game is dead. than when they actually had people playing it. But remember, don't over-deliver. That's right. Don't over-deliver. Let's see. That's not what it said, though. They didn't go their separate ways, at least from that overview. I'm not going to argue about it. I just read what I read, and we're moving on. Kylo says, I think D1 remaster is more likely than D3. Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't care either way. Crowded. I just read what I read. I'm moving on. I don't care. I'm not planting a flag in one side or the other. I don't like Bungie. I don't support them, so I don't give a shit if they brought back or didn't bring back. I do think people should sue because you paid for content and now you can no longer pay for that content. But that's what Stop Killing Games is all about, isn't it? So hopefully when they make Destiny 3, they don't remove any content because it's getting too big. It's getting too big, but yet they've just inserted a whole bunch of shit inside of Destiny. Eclipse says, yeah, why is it not back in then? They did nothing wrong. You're ending it anyway. So why not let me play everything? Because if they did that, then they would show fault. Then the case would be back open. Right? It's very convenient that the game doesn't exist anymore and they pretend they like lost it. Imagine being a game company and it wasn't like it was like 30 years old, right? They're like, we don't know where we put it. We misplaced the drive. Like, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Fortunately for everybody, I have the complete campaign. We could watch it because I played the entire campaign on stream. Feels Good says, I'm still playing Marathon. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, we can't show you the stuff because we just don't know where we don't know where the content is. We lost it. Luke Smith took it with him when he left the company. Right, Saint. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that cabinet. Yeah, we were remodeling, and we just happened to lose multi-millions of dollars worth of content that we paid for over the years. We just misplaced it. What are we fucking talking about? Says, do you mean you scrub the servers like with a sponge? Yeah, they got rid of it. They burnt it all. They said, take this and get it out. It's ridiculous. What time is it? 12 o'clock? I wanted to watch another video, but you know what we could watch? This is a funny video. Let's watch this video. Hold on one second. Let me bring it up. We're gonna watch this because this is funny. Let's have a little fun with Bungie. Let me get the video that they posted yesterday. Here it is. Buckalorian posted this. Let me add this. Get back here. Let me add this to the description down below because we never watch anything on here unless we give credit where credit is due. So let me add this. All the stories that we've covered and whatnot, you guys can watch or link in the description down below. All right, we're gonna watch this because this is funny. I watched this yesterday, but I want to watch it again because this has to do with Destiny. And if you guys ever watch this, this is Skeletor, big Destiny fan. I don't know if you guys know this, big Destiny fan. So let's watch this and see what Skeletor has to say about Destiny.
Guys, it's bad.
What's going on? You can't escape me! Now chase you to the ends of the earth!
What's going on? Yeah, what happened?
Is it too loud? Is it too loud for you guys? Because I think because of that program that we used earlier, it might be too loud. Hold on one second. I'm not monitoring it.
But destiny happened.
Oh no. Skeletor, what's going on? Destiny 2 is fucking dead! Bungie has officially stopped now development on Destiny! It's over! Well, I'm sure Sony has some plans too. Sony? Sony are the reason we're somewhere between Concord and Hitler in the Book of Fudge right now!
Wait, so no more Destiny 2? Oh wow, so that thing that we all knew was going to happen actually happened.
That's crazy.
I know.
But wait, I thought Marathon was going to fix...
I love how Tom always makes these, and it reminds me of like the TV show of like, bum, 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 bum. Like, yeah, you have a learn your lesson here.
everything. Didn't it sell well?
Belle Delphine made more money selling her bathwater than Bungie did with Marathon. Bungie was out here throwing up more red flags than Dr. Disrespect in a playground, and Sony still did fucking
Oh, wait a minute.
bathwater than Bungie did with Marathon. Bungie was out here throwing up more red flags than Dr. Disrespect in a playground, and Sony still did fucking nothing!
Hey boss, I know you're pissed and all, but I've got no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, how did we get here? You all want to know? Well, listen up, because I'll tell you exactly all the dumb shit that led Bungie to this shenanigan bukkake we now find ourselves in.
Okay.
Bungie, after months of no communication, small updates, and a delayed roadmap with less meat on it than an anorexic porn star, announced that they are ceasing all development on
Do I have to put the closed captions on for you guys so you can understand what Skeletor is saying?
Destiny 2 going forward. So now the game is officially dead, and the fan base is blowing up like the Ayatollah. Not so long after, the dirt comes out that Bungie totaled a $765 million impairment loss for when they were acquired by Sony for $3.6 billion. Because who could have guessed that abandoning your main IP for an unproven one wasn't a smart fucking move?
Why is it that I have to listen to Skeletor make sense for me on how Sony could fuck up something so bad and how Bungie could fuck up something so bad?
This then leads to a public outcry from not only the Destiny community, but those outside of it, as well as a civil war between the Destiny and Marathon community. This stems from when Bungie split its workforce to create Marathon, which led to Destiny receiving less content. Then more info came out that Sony kept shutting down all internal pitches for what to do with Destiny going forward, which ultimately meant that so Destiny threw in the works, and these ideas were too unrealistic.
So fucking he's starting to mumble because he's so pissed off.
To produce, if only Bungie had received $3.6 billion, putting up the highs of the fucking century, and then proceeding to spend it all on vintage
Pete Parson.
cars and whatever else Pete keeps in his fucking garage, which only raises the question of why the fuck did Sony, after the Concorde debacle, buy a sinking ship and then proceed to do nothing with it?
Yo, that's what I don't understand right now. Crowded says 9 years of bad decisions and people are surprised. Not me, my friend. Not me. I am surprised though that Sony spent $3.6 billion and I was like, you know what? We're just gonna scrap the thing that we bought. Like, I'm sorry, what? Why would you close the thing that you bought?
Instead of bolstering Destiny's development, they instead decided to go all in on Marathon.
What happened to Dr. Disrespect? He's doing very successful on YouTube and Rumble, by the way. He's fine.
Fun, it gave us a greater chance of a comeback than that guy who fucked a horse and died on the internet. And each extraction shooter that as of right now, and less people playing it than Destiny 2 does at its lowest point. They were banking on Marathon being a success, but oops, we stole art, and now we have to delay our launch. God, I hope another casual extraction shooter doesn't come out and completely steal the market from under us. Fuck!
Yeah, well, they stole the market like 6 months before you did.
And with Destiny 2's development collapsing because Age of Freedom Renegades didn't hit sale expectations, Marathon now has the entire community on its fucking shoulders, despite never being built to sustain it. So now Bungie, who has a multiple IP company for about 4 months, is in a complete freefall, so now no one knows where the fuck the company is going, not even the developers. So in the end, with no potential future in sight for the company, Destiny 2 as a franchise and the whole fucking thing is completely, positively, absolutely fucked!
Well,
I mean, that's pretty much the rundown. I think everyone knows what's happening now.
that sucks.
That's your fucking reaction?
Skeletor, we understand the situation, but even you just admitted that Bungie did themselves no favors, and that this was more or less inevitable.
I know that, but it pisses me off that the people who caused all this to happen won't see any of this shit. But don't worry, I'm prepared for this situation. I've got a master plan in case this was to ever happen.
Great. What is it?
First, we take this chair.
Okay.
Then this noose.
Oh, wait, what?
Then you kick the chair from underneath me.
That is the community right now. That is the community right now. They're like, it's over. It's over.
And
Skeletor, what the fuck are you doing?
oh, killing myself, He-Man. I thought it was obvious.
Get down from there.
Well, yes, jumping down was the plan.
No, Eternia, give me strength.
He-Man, you're overreacting.
Well, the link's in the description down below for you, Saint, so you can go hit that and share it with your friends.
You were in a fucking noose.
Don't be so dramatic.
I wonder what's happening at Bungie right now.
Yeah, you fucking with some wet-ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass pussy. Sir! Damn it, Jenkins, not right now. Not during my Cardi B hour.
But sir, is it true? Did we just kill Destiny?
What the fuck is Destiny? Oh, that game we used to make. Jay Jenkins, we didn't kill Destiny. We merely ceased development.
But isn't that the same thing?
Oh, potato, Jenkins.
But where did all the money for development go, sir?
I can assure you, Jenkins, it went to all the right places.
That's right. Where did that money go for development? That they're just like sweeping it underneath the rug. Like, where's all that money? Where did it go?
Who ordered the 1974 Chevrolet?
Oh, fantastic! Put it with the others, would you? Oh, Jenkins, that car is a real slut magnet, don't you know?
Sir, please, the community is lost and confused. What should we do?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. I've tried nothing, and I'm still out of ideas.
Sir, I'm starting to think that you're out of touch with this company.
Are you implying that I'm not cool, Jenkins? I'll have you know I'm very down with the kids, no diddy. Look.
Ooh, Scuba. Sir, please, there's clearly still a lot of love for Destiny. The state of play was bombarded by cries for a Destiny free, and the change.org only keeps growing by the day.
Wait a minute, 365.20. Wait, that looks pretty close to. Well, that's close. That's basically the concurrent on PC alone.
Hey, well, if they wanted Destiny free, then they'll simply have to buy more Marathon.
But sir, why would they support Marathon after seeing how we've been treating Destiny? Who's to say that we won't do the same to that game too?
Jenkins, you know you talk a lot of shit for Sony in layoff distance, right?
But surely Sony isn't happy with the way things are right now.
You'd think so, but I'm quite free to fuck around and never find out.
You know, sir, of all the baffling decisions this company's been making, I'm starting to think that maybe...
I do remember that, Jesse. Yeah.
Just maybe that we're being manipulated by a higher power.
Like Jesus?
No, Sony, sir.
Yeah.
You know, the more I think about it, it's almost like all the decisions that Sony have made since acquiring us were so fucking stupid and evil.
Well, that's just me.
I don't know what's more stupid, right? The changes that Xbox did to raising the price of Game Pass, getting rid of their exclusives, or Sony paying $3.6 billion to not support the game that they bought to do. It's amazing. Both these companies are trillion-dollar companies. Well, actually, one's a trillion, one's a billion, 100 billion. Okay, and yet they still make these stupid decisions.
That they had to be done by a cartoon villain. An 80s cartoon villain.
You finally figured it out.
I have?
Yes, that this was all the genius.
Of course. Should have known. It's Cobra Commander the entire time. Only Cobra Commander could do something so stupid.
Is planning of Cobra.
But why, Sony? I mean, Cobra.
the guy in the background.
Of Cobra.
But why, Sony? I mean, Cobra.
To spread evil and chaos.
Well, that's just fucking stupid.
Who do you think spent $3.6 billion on this company and then did nothing with it?
See, this makes sense, right? This makes sense. Cobra Commander bought it for $3.6 billion and did nothing with it. That sounds like an evil villain would do something like that. Not a corporation that makes video games.
Who do you think made Bungie abandon Destiny to work on Marathon? Who do you think shut down every chance to save the company? And who do you think put a total dipshit in charge of it?
How dare you? Only I get to call Jenkins that.
And now that we finally gotten Destiny cancelled, the people were mourn and panic was spread far and wide.
Oh no!
And there is no one who can turn the tide against the might of...
We're all seeing what's happening here, right? We're all seeing what's about to happen.
Cobra!
Care to repeat that, you son of a bitch?
What?
Yeah!
Oh, man. Yeah. Yo, Joe!
G.I. Joe!
That's right, Cobra. And I just pulled a Caitlyn Jenner to tell you that the developers are right now performing the ultimate final update for Destiny 2.
No! It's my IP to sit on and do nothing with! Ah! Curse you, G.I. Joe!
Wow, Destiny 2 developers. I never said thank you. And you'll never have to. We, the developers, never stopped caring.
The best part here, okay, is Bungie is to blame. They are the ones to blame about this entire thing.
And as long as we're here, we'll never leave the Destiny 2 community hanging.
Jump! Jump! Wow, they must really care about me.
For God's sake, Skeletor, look around. This is blowing out of proportion.
I know. There's more people here than there are playing Marathon right now.
Oh my god. What a great line. Oh my god.
Skeletor, listen to me. Just because Destiny 2 has ceased development doesn't mean that this is the end for Destiny. We've been down this road many times before, and we've always stuck together. We will shout loud and clear about this so that Sony hears our desire for more Destiny content. If not for us, then for the developers, who worked hard to deliver what they could against such incredible odds. Their passion for the game is just as strong as ours. So let us work together and show our support to prove to Sony that Destiny is still... Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, what? Were you saying something, He-Man?
Oh, I give up.
Well, that makes two of us. Right, enough to hang myself now. What? What was that?
The new TWAB just came out.
And?
Well, it looks amazing. New catalysts. And the director is back. Wow, reworked exotics and abilities. Battle racing. Weapon tier upgrading.
Wait a minute. Weapon tier upgrading?
Reworked exotics and abilities. Battle racing. Weapon tier.
Introducing weapon tier upgrading. For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. Those of you that don't know. I talked about upgrading gear for years leading up before Destiny 2 even came out. Literally talking about gearing up gear.
You're upgrading. An artifact rework. What out new vendor shit?
All this on June the 9th? That's today.
But
But what does this all mean?
You fools! This could only mean one thing! Destiny is back!
Well, I wouldn't say that, but...
Destiny 2 is back!
And the copium has kicked in.
We're back! We're so back!
Oh, shit.
World Star! We're so back!
That was fantastic. That was fantastic. If you go down below, give it a like, give it a sub. He makes some amazing content. If you haven't watched his other stuff, go watch it. It's fantastic. It's so good. Fucking weapon tears. Amazing. Oh my God, chat. It's like how can these companies be so stupid? Right? They're like, oh, all these things that you've asked for years and years and years. Okay, we're going to add them all on the same day at the very end when we announce ahead of time that Destiny 2 is ending. Right? We've been asking for these things for years. And they're like, nope, no, can't do it. No, it doesn't belong in the game. I feel like that guy. Right? Clip says, so they put what people have been asking for in the final update. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, I should go back and play it. I've been asking for tiered weapon systems for a decade. A decade. Crowd says, I think it's more about Pete Parson line than anything else. You're missing the point, Crowded. It is the entire company, Bungie, the entire company did this to themselves. The ethos of Bungie did this to themselves. This is not a Pete Parson thing. This is a Bungie thing, right? Now, Pete Parson is Bungie, okay? But Bungie has done this to themselves for the entire time. This is not just like one guy destroying the company from within. This is the entire company doing what they're doing and pretending nothing's wrong. Spending money left and right. Altered says, this is how you don't over-deliver now, claim. Calm down. Now that the game is dead, we can over-deliver. That's right. Yeah, Justin Trudeau, right? That's not Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau is... that's the Canadian guy. What's the guy's name? Justin... It's Justin something. Isn't it what was his name? Bungie. He was the COO. He was the leader, but he didn't take over. Truman. Justin Truman. That's his name. He's the guy that said, don't under promise and over deliver. Sarge says, cash out your stocks before they become dissolved, walk away clean, and fat wallet. Mo says, Mike, off topic, but what do you think they could do for the next Gears of War after the first 3 days of the lore? Wait, the first 3 days the lore is there. I have so much. Oh, well, I talked about it a little bit yesterday, right? Yesterday we talked about it a little bit. If the whole game takes place in that 3 day for E-Day, they have so much fucking stuff they can do. And I was talking about it yesterday as far as like Space Marines 2. Like if they did that content type of thing, or like a SnowRunners where they just keep adding. So maybe by the end of the first year, maybe it takes place in that week time, month time, something like that. You know what I mean? Eclipse said they have 10 years to play with between E-Day and the first Gears of War. So they could make a complete trilogy. They can make continued content for the next 3 to 5 years, and it only spans a couple of months from when E-Day starts and the game takes place in 3 days. They could continue adding content for it. Jesse Max says, yesterday Destiny servers offline while waiting for the Shadow Realm in the queue. Sarge says, company-wide leadership trash. Yep. Yeah, Justin Bieber, Justin Timberlake. No, it's Justin Truman. There's a new Marty O'Donnell interview you should check out. He says whatever he wants because he's not under NDA. Didn't we watch that under Smash JT Crowded? We watched that, was it last week before I left? If that's the one you're talking about. Unless there's a new one. Altered says Sony is taking too long to dissolve Bungie. Like as soon as the stocks are paid, Bungie's gone. Wait, did you go over the Xbox showcase? Yesterday we went over all the showcases, but it was just me picking out games and just talking about stuff. We didn't like watch. The only thing we watched the E-Day trailer yesterday, or the extended behind the scenes type of stuff is what we watched yesterday, Dolphin. Most says like different DLCs the last week in the game or a month in the game, something like that. Yeah, so when we talk about E-Day yesterday, and we're talking about the same kind of business model that Space Marines 2 has, again, if the game takes place in 3 days, that's the campaign. And then like a month or two down the line, they add more content. It could fast forward a couple weeks. It could fast forward like a month. But they have so much story they can tell, like leading up to. They could have went to a different city. They could have done a whole bunch of other stuff. It'd be cool if they did stuff like that. Fable gameplay showcase today. What time is that at? We won't be live for it, but because I gotta get going. We're going to go to lunch in a second, and then we'll be back tonight on fake news with Wizard over on his channel, and then we'll do playing games with Sarge after that. Paul tasking me a new video. Maybe we'll watch that tomorrow. All right. That is going to do it for me today. We covered Asha Sharma. We covered just Xbox in general. We covered Destiny 2. We watched the He-Man talking about Destiny 2 or Skeletor talking about Destiny 2. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning until noon Eastern. If you like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We just hang out, have conversation with you guys. Appreciate it very much. We'll see you guys tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern over on Fake Wizard News. And then we'll see you around like 9:15 over on 30 and Still Gaming. And if I don't see you guys tonight over there, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Appreciate it very much, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
To explain. Wake up in the Cosmodrome rain, a dead earth calling out your name. Ghost says guardian rise again. No map, no guide, just fire in your hand. The dark below, we fought in caves. Hive kings crawling from ancient graves. House of wolves, betrayal lines. Prison of elders, one more try at a time. We were lost, but we believed. In the light we couldn't see. We were chasing light through time. Every loss still felt like mine. From broken stars to burning skies, we kept on fighting, never asking why. Oh. spreading like